This is Colin from Northwest Cadence. In this video, I want to go over some of the top reasons to move from TFS to VSTS. I'm also going to go over a couple of differences between TFS and VSTS that you should be aware of. So here they are, without any mess or fuss. The first reason is no upgrades. We work with a lot of customers who need to upgrade their TFS servers in order to keep up with the latest functionality that's coming out from the product group. Now granted, the product group has done a lot of amazing work on the upgrade wizards, but this is still something you have to consider, plan for, schedule, and work out how to do if you're going to keep your TFS servers up to date. However, with VSTS, you don't have to do any of that since you're always on the latest and greatest code from the product team. The second great reason is no servers. Instead of having to maintain your own servers and infrastructure for TFS, you get to offload that into VSTS. So that means you're not managing any of the infrastructure. The third reason is you're always on the latest bits. And this kind of ties in with the no upgrades. Anytime the product team releases a new feature, they generally release it to VSTS first, since they get a lot of customer feedback, they know how to do A/B testing on those features, and so on. So you're always on the latest bits out of the product group when you're on VSTS. Another great reason is global availability. This is especially good if you have teams that are geographically dispersed. Now you can take TFS and add an SSL certificate so that it's publicly available so that external parties or other teams can log in. But these are things that you have to manage and think about. Whereas being in VSTS means any team member who has permission can log on wherever they are in a secure fashion. The final reason I want to talk about is always on, always there. With TFS, you have to consider backups and high availability since you don't want to be a blocker for your team. However, with VSTS, it's pretty much always on and always there. No need to think about backups, no need to think about availability, since it's always on. Let's talk about some of the differences between TFS and VSTS. Now, over the years that VSTS has been operating, the gap between the functionality in VSTS and TFS has shrunk significantly. At present, there is actually very few differences between VSTS and TFS. However, here are some that you need to keep in mind. The first one is reporting. With VSTS currently, there is no integration into SQL Server reporting services. However, the product team are about to release some amazing reporting capabilities, which extend the dashboards and widgets that are currently on VSTS. So stay tuned for that functionality. Of course, if you're on VSTS, you'll get access to those features immediately. The second difference is user access and groups. Typically, TFS users and groups are managed out of Active Directory. So users get a single sign-on experience and administrators can administer TFS through AD groups. However, with VSTS, there are two options for managing user access. The first is for your users to use their Microsoft accounts. If your users are using their Microsoft accounts, then you have to create groups on TFS and manage membership to those groups yourself. However, since VSTS now supports Azure Active Directory, you can also opt to do authentication via Azure Active Directory. And this means you get to control user access and groups through AAD rather than through TFS. The third one is customization. When you customize process templates in TFS, you need to use the WitAdmin tools and open up XML files. It's pretty powerful, but there is a learning curve and it takes a bit of time to do any customizations. On VSTS, customizations are growing, so you won't be able to do as many customizations on VSTS as you can currently do on TFS. However, there's a great user interface for doing customization, and it won't be long until there's parity between the customization that you get on VSTS and TFS. So even though there are these differences, we'd argue that some of them are even better on VSTS than they are on TFS. So we encourage all our customers to think very carefully about staying on TFS versus moving to VSTS, since VSTS has a lot of advantages over TFS.